But as you said, Alex, there is a PowerPoint. I'm going to start sharing it now. Hope you can see the screen. WrestleMania Vegas,
look at that.
as it is. WrestleMania Vegas 42 for 42. Now, I've got to be honest. This is really my biggest ambition during this show each year, is to improve the quality of the PowerPoint presentation. That's really the main goal that I've got going into this.
Have you done that? Or is that the official?
No, I think that's the official one, or I've seen
it. That's what I was going to say then. I thought you were going to say you wanted to improve on the logo, because I hate that logo. It's awful.
I love it. I think it's...
it's awful.
I don't have an opinion either way, but I want to improve on the presentation in general. So hopefully this is slightly better than you've had in the past. And we start with Night 1. That's where we're starting, obviously. Night 1. And World Heavyweight title match is our opening match for the weekend. It features the World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther, against Royal Rumble winner,
this is brilliant.
Braun Breaker.
Ooh.
That's the opening contest. We've got Gunther versus Braun Breaker. So I guess quite similar in nature to the Brock Lesnar Braun Breaker contest. Now, the way I see this going is that, and actually, again, WWE, so I should tell everyone now, that just after SummerSlam is when I first booked all this, when I first put it all into place. And since then, WWE have done a bunch of things that have really pissed me off, because they've kind of stepped on some of the things I wanted to do. Here, where they stepped on it was they did that multi-way match, I think at Night of Champions or whenever it was, when they had CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Jey Uso versus LA Knight. Because the way I wanted to get to this match was for Gunther to beat Seth Rollins and CM Punk in a triple threat match that would happen at in October or November, and he would get the title there, and that would allow Punk and Rollins to continue going up against each other until maybe the end of the year, where they have a match at Saturday night's main event, maybe, and Gunther to move on as champion. And then at the Rumble, Braun Breaker was going to win the Rumble, and the story is going to be that we're going to try and do a similar thing to the Batista Triple H thing in 2005, but the difference will be here is that Seth will give Braun Breaker his blessing to go after the title that previously was his, and he'll support him for the time being. Now, my idea is that Breaker will win this match to win the World Heavyweight title, and then that will allow WWE to plot a course to a future Seth Rollins Braun Breaker feud, either at SummerSlam or even for next year's WrestleMania. But that is the goal here, is just to keep the vision together for a bit longer, but meanwhile start to put in place the building blocks for the eventual split between Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. And if they do it, I would have Seth Rollins and what's his face, the other one, can't remember his name now, Bronson Reed, stay together, and add another member so the vision continues. So it doesn't crumble like Evolution did eventually. It just continues on. But Rollins replaces Breaker effectively. Okay, so that's the first match.
I had this match in one of my drafts and changed it. I think it's a great idea. I mean, Braun Breaker's so good. And I could see this happening as well, I could see this actually happening.
I'm all about the next generation, but as much as I can be, whilst also being realistic about the fact that we do need some legacy stars and big matches. So I just felt like this is a chance to put Breaker over. I don't want them to take ages about doing it. That's the thing. I worry that they're just going to take so long about it. By the time they do it, it won't be worth it. So anyway, that's match 1. Match 2, mixed tag match. Now this is where I got a little bit lazy, because I was like, basically this was the last match that I was like, I've got to put this together and I've got to use some of these people. So to be honest, this is probably the one I'm absolutely least proud of. But it is the Terror Twins, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, against the random pairing of Rusev and Nia Jax. So basically,
I would be super proud of that.
So basically, I was left with Rhea Ripley needing to get her on the card somewhere. I was left in a position where I didn't want another singles match. I needed a tag team match. I was like, well, let's put a mixed tag together. We've got Priest, so that makes sense. They're friends. They can be a tag team. And then I was looking around at what I had left on the other side of the aisle, and I was like, I got no one. Fine. I'm going to chuck two people that physically look like they could be a challenge to Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, and that's why they are together as a team for the second match, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest against Rusev and Nia Jax. Okay, we move on to match 3, the Intercontinental title match, and unarguably another match where I'm just trying to get people onto the show, in fairness. It is Intercontinental Champion LA Knight. I set myself a goal here of basically having every match have somebody, at least one person that people really think is a big deal. I guess LA Knight kind of in that territory. and so is his opponent for that title, Drew McIntyre. This is where I use Drew. I could not find last year a place for Drew in my show. Couldn't find a place for him. So I was determined to do it this year. Still didn't find a great place for him. But I figure, given who these two people are, people would at least treat it as important, even if it wasn't really.
I like that.
Alex's noise is more how I feel about it, but there we go. Match 4, 6-man tag match. So it's very important for me to get a variety of different match types on the show. And when I say that, I don't mean gimmick matches. I mean different match types like 1-on-1, 6-man, 10-man, etc. 6-man tag match. The new look Judgment Day begin this one. So Sheamus is joining his Irish brethren, JD Madonna and Finn Balor, in an all-Irish Judgment Day. They could recruit Lyra Valkyria if they want later on. That would work in terms of this. I basically decided Sheamus just needs a whole new direction. I'm just sick of Sheamus. There's nothing. If he's going to be staying around, got to do something else than just a guy who likes to fight people. It's just boring. So I'm like, maybe Sheamus's justification for this is the vehicle for me to get one last world title. I don't want him caring about the Intercontinental title. The guy has won the WWE title. Why does it matter so much to win the Intercontinental title? So I think coming out of WrestleMania, Sheamus could be a good heel contender for a world title. Not that he'd win it, but he could be a good heel contender for somebody. And they are against, well, this is another case of getting some people on the show. So we've got Sami Zayn, Randy Orton, and Rey Mysterio Jr. Big deal.
Random trio.
Yeah, but they're the ones going up against the Judgment Day in this new story, whatever. Don't know how it all comes together, but who cares? Like, that's the 6-man tag match we've got. It is the Judgment Day versus Sami Zayn, Randy Orton, and Rey Mysterio. We're very much getting the stars on this show. I think the Judgment Day would win this. As I say, I want Sheamus to be presented as kind of like going on a run for a title, basically. Okay, next up, WrestleMania 43 announcement. So obviously we've now had this, but I thought, actually, given that we now know that Saudi Arabia is going to host WrestleMania 43, this belongs on my fantasy booking even more, right? Because this takes it away from Saudi Arabia all over again. And to come out to deliver the announcement is none other than William Regal. He comes out and states that it's going to be in his home country and it's going to be at Wembley Stadium, announced as the venue for WrestleMania. So I thought that, we call this fantasy booking WrestleMania every year, and I never fantasy book. I just book a show that I think could happen within the bounds of possibleness, not necessarily that will happen. And on this one, I thought, no, you know what? I'm just gonna have a bit of fun, and I'm doing this really for you, Matt, because I'm not going to go. Even if it was at Wembley Stadium, I'm not going to go. It's far too expensive. I'm not going to have the chance. I'm going to have to stay over in London for the night. The hotel's going to be really expensive, and I just won't be able to do it. So I'm like, you know what? This is for Matt, and this is for Stephen, because it'll be from down the road from him, and it's for anybody else who's on the pod who wants to go see it, and anybody else who listens to the pod who's from the UK, who's desperate for WrestleMania to be in the UK. That's who this is for. So that's why I put it in.
So, it's funny that you mentioned that as well, right? Because I remember when Cena did the announcement at Money in the Bank, saying, "Oh yeah, we want to bring it to London." I sort of give my brother a heads up right there. For those listening, my brother happens to live in London, and if ever there's like concerts or whatever, I tend to stay over here. He's very good to me for that. And I said to him, "Oh, look, I'm going to give you a heads up." I said, "When WrestleMania comes here, I'm moving in for a week." So he already knows accommodation is sorted. So as soon as it happens, I'm done.
Well, good luck in 25 years when it finally happens. You'll be in a good place.
So just to take it in a bit of a different direction, on the WhatsApp group, I shared the picture that the prices have come out for the WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, and the cheapest ticket is like $800 or something. And I had a moment of realization.
Was this not the Las Vegas prices?
Yeah. And when I saw that the cheapest ticket was $800, I had a moment of realization that I don't think I'm ever going to go to a WrestleMania, because I've never been to one. I've always wanted to go to one. It's always been on my bucket list. And obviously, you guys are aware that my circumstances have recently changed. So I'm now single, because my ex-partner's cousins live in Philadelphia. So I was always under the impression if it goes to Philadelphia, I could go there. Obviously, that's not going to happen now. So my closest chance is probably Wembley, but I'm not paying $800. Not $800, but it'll be there or thereabouts. I cannot afford to pay that much money to go to WrestleMania. even if this was announced, it would be this is probably the only one that I could possibly go to, and I don't think that's going to happen. So sad times, sad times.
Well, as I said, I'm doing it for everyone else because I couldn't justify the expense.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Okay, we're going to carry on the card now with match number 5, a singles match, and this is another gift. It's Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill.
Yes!
It's a gift from Matthew, and I decided to do it because I thought, well, first of all, it's not for a title, and secondly, I think from what I can tell, Jade Cargill, WWE seem to have given up on her. They don't seem to think she's really all that, and they've had her lose to what's her face, Tiffany, haven't they, in a one-on-one match. And I think that they've realised that they're not going to get what they wanted to get out of her already, even though she's been, well, I say already, been there for a couple of years now. It's time. That's enough time to prove yourself, I think. So yeah, I thought, you know what, seeing as they've given up on her, the most value she's got ultimately is to finally have this match for Bianca and have Bianca beat her, put her out of her misery, and we're done. No more Jade Cargill.
It's a shame it never got to be the main event that it deserved.
I definitely wasn't putting it there, so that wasn't that much of a gift, but there you go. I thought I'd give Matthew a lovely little gift. Bit of a waste of Bianca, but you know what? There are so many talented women on the WWE roster now that I was like, I don't need to rely on Bianca to be in a really important, high-profile singles match this time.
I've got both of these on my card. They're not fighting each other, and I'm the same as you, Ben. I think that my match for Jade Cargill is this is the not the last chance, but this is probably going to be our last WrestleMania. So I've gone for what I think is a bit of a marquee dream match, which is another tease.
Lovely stuff.
But in a way as well, I just find it kind of sad. I mean, it's just she was like, oh, going to leave AEW to go to the the big time sort of thing, and yeah, it hasn't really panned out that way, is it?
I don't think she'll care. I think she will. When she moved from AEW, she negotiated a big old contract, got loads of money, and that's what she wanted from it. That's what they should all want from it. They're professionals. Go and make your money. Crying out loud. Stop worrying about how many wins you get. Right. Up next, match 6, tag team title match. Now, again, WWE kind of stepped on this a little bit just recently because they brought back together the Usos, and I thought this would be very special because it'd be the first time in 2.5 years or whatever since they teamed together, but of course they've now done it. But I'm keeping it anyway. It's a dream tag team title match against none other than the Lucha Bros. We're going Phoenix and Penta against the Usos. And the way I was going to do this ultimately is I'm going to create a vacancy in the tag team division. The tag team titles are going to be vacant for whatever reason. There's going to be a tournament, and Jey Uso and Sami Zayn are going to be lined up to compete together in that tournament. But Sami Zayn has to miss out for whatever reason, and then basically Jimmy approaches Jay and says, look, I'll step in for Sammy. So it's an off the cuff thing. And then they just have a run to the final, and this is the final. And Lucha Bros obviously win their way through to the final as well, and then they face each other. So I felt like that was an adequate WrestleMania tag team title match to Usos versus the Lucha Bros.
I've got the same match.
There we go.
And the reason I've got it is I think Jey Uso has had his time as a singles wrestler now, and they've got Penta and Rey Fenix, and I cannot see either of them having stock in either of them as single wrestlers. So I think that they need to just put them together, and that's why and it would be a fantastic match, and it is a dream match. It is a dream match.
In my view, it's a dream match in the proper sense of the word, i.e., it's two big name teams facing one another in a match you didn't expect to ever happen, rather than two people that will have a great match just because they're really great wrestlers. They're big names rather than great wrestlers.
Yeah.
They're not good wrestlers.
I completely agree, and I think it'll be a bit of both. A dream match that you never thought you'd see, but I think it will be a great match as well. I think it will be a show stealer, that.
Possibly. Yeah, very possibly. So match 7 is for the women's world title. This was originally going to be Charlotte Flair versus Bayley. It is now Stephanie Vaquer against Bayley. I still want Bayley in a high-profile women's title match. I'm still a big fan of Bayley. And I think also the reason I wanted Charlotte Flair versus Bayley, right, in particular, was because I was going to have the story be that Charlotte Flair would be saying, look, I've always outdone you. You've always been the second best. Like, you've just never been able to be as big as me. I've won all the titles. You've won a couple, but you've not done as many as me. You know, I did everything before you. Everything you've done, I achieved 12 months before you did all the rest of it. And for Charlotte to be going in as champion and being like, you're never going to beat me in this match. Maybe even them have a couple of matches building up to WrestleMania where Charlotte Flair overcame Bayley. And then they'd go into this match and Bayley would come back with the hugger gimmick as a surprise. Like she'd come out with the inflatable men and all the rest of it, like proper old school Bailey, kind of slay the dragon in Charlotte Flair and do it in the guise that she originally kind of approached her career in, if you like. So that's all gone by the wayside now, unfortunately, because of Charlotte Flair having to move out of this. But I still like the idea of Bailey taking one last push towards a title. Whether she wins it or not, I leave that to anybody else. I haven't really decided where I would go with it. But this is really about Bailey and giving her one last big match at WrestleMania against somebody that is highly rated and who is young. And I think it's always good to see that they're trying to build new stars. So that's where it went. Main event of night one. And I promise both of you, this will be the last time I propose this match at a WrestleMania. Night one, main event, tribal combat for the Ula Fala. It is Roman Reigns versus, of course, the only man he could face in this situation, The Rock. Roman Reigns versus The Rock. 3 years in a row now, I've booked this match in my fantasy booking for WrestleMania. And the reason the reason this year anyway, is I cannot get past it for Roman Reigns. So all of my thoughts about where Roman Reigns should go seem to just get held up by the fact that he has not faced The Rock. And I just feel like he needs it. He needs to have the match in my head to get past it, because otherwise I can't think of anything else for him to do. And you know what? I think WWE are in the same place as me. I don't think they've got a clue what to do with Roman Reigns anymore. I think they've just got to a point where they're like, we've hit a wall here. What do we do with this guy? So I'm saying let's just get ourselves through this wall, which is The Rock, and let's have the damn match and draw a line under it once and for all. So this is my night one main event, Rock versus Roman.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave Alex.
I mean,
to
look, I mean, I do agree with you. I do agree with you. It's I have got both of them on my card. I have got The Rock on my card. Not against each other, but I agree. It does need to happen, but I don't think it will. I don't think it will happen. And I think I'm going less off the idea, but only because for 3 years now it's been picked.
I promise I will not pick it next year unless they do something on screen that suggests a story for it. I'm not going to book it again. And the other thing about this is that I don't think The Rock is ever going to wrestle again. By the way, I will say that now. I think we're done.
Yeah.
I think he's done. If he does, there's 2 matches I think he has to have. This is one. The other one is against Cody. We'll leave it there.
Interesting.
So Saudi money's coming.
Yeah, well, that's true. That is very true.
That's going to happen, isn't it?
Oh yeah. That's probably
going to happen at Saudi.
Probably.
So you've promised that you're not going to pick it to fantasy, but and the year that you don't pick it is going to happen.
That's fine. I'm not This is not a prediction competition. It's just a fantasy booking thing. Right, night 2 then, and we begin match 1. Brock Lesnar, and he's up against Jacob Fatu. I'm going big men beating each other up. I'm going let's have this be Brock's last appearance. Let's have Jacob Fatu beat him, put him in the ground, done with Brock. Like I felt compelled to book Brock Lesnar into this show simply because WWE have got him back. So he's probably going to be involved. But if he's going to be involved, I'm involving him to put somebody over. And to be honest, I'm not absolutely delighted with Jacob Fatu as the choice for that. But I couldn't really bring myself to give it to anybody else. I just felt like I feel like it needs to be someone who physically could stand up to Brock Lesnar. I know, Alex, you like the idea of the smaller guy up against Brock, and I don't hate that, but I just don't want a match where it has to last a length of time, which you'd have to do with a smaller guy, because the smaller guy can't impact Brock enough to beat him in 6 minutes, whereas a bigger guy can. So 6 minutes is just an example, could be longer, but ultimately I don't want this to be a long match. I don't want it to be particularly short. I just don't want it to be long, and I want somebody to get a big victory over him and then just be done with Brock Lesnar. Of course, he won't be done either, because he will also take the Saudi money. So I'm sure he'll be at WrestleMania 43 as well, but that's just the way I'm booking this right now.
Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, Saudi Arabia.
Oh, God. All right, okay. Moving on. So match 2 for night 2, women's tag team title match. This is Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, obviously current tag team champions, and they are against the team that I book in the women's tag team title match every single year, the Kabuki Warriors. Because let's be honest, if they are a tag team, they are the best women's tag team there are, and they're also an established tag team. They're not just 2 people we've thrown together because we've got a tag team match on the show. And this had to change because, as I said, Stephanie Vercaer won the women's title and the match I originally had her in just didn't work for her anymore. But also, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss beat Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez, who I originally had in this match against the Kabuki Warriors. So I was like, well, there's an easy swap there. So in came Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. And again, I thought, well, big names all over the place, so I'm happy. Right. Up next, we have US title match. It is AJ Styles versus Logan Paul versus Aleister Black versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Okay. Random 4-way match. I needed to get some people on the show. And I'll be honest, I originally had Andrade in Shinsuke Nakamura's position, but he got released. I also did this because I have this thing where I feel like I need to at least do what I think WWE would do, which is to book some of these people. So, for example, I'd have Aleister Black nowhere near a dream WrestleMania. I'd have Logan Paul nowhere near a dream WrestleMania. I cannot stand Logan Paul. I don't think he's even a good heel. I think he's just really boring. Really, really boring now. But WWE will have him. So I'm like, well, I've got to find some place for him. And if I've got to do that, we'll chuck him in the nothing 4-way match for the nothing US title. That's fine.
Ouch.
Yeah. Moving on. Match 4. 10-man tag match. So we have the Bloodline MFTs. Oh, here they are. All of them back, not injured, together for the first time, I think, ever. Whatever. It speaks for itself. And they're against the Wyatt Six with Braun Strowman added as a 5th male member because I needed one to make this a 10-man tag. And he just fits, doesn't he? He just fits. He was part of the original Wyatt family, so it's fine. He's in.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Why not?
I have got the Wyatt Six on mine, actually. I totally forgot about that.
The chance to have a 10-man tag match, basically. That's the reason it's here. So that's your 10-man tag match there. Match 4. Match 5 is not coming yet because we've got the Hall of Fame 2026 induction class.
Oh, lovely.
So this is obviously inspired now by Alex because he did some of these extra bits. So I thought I'd put this in this year. And I haven't got Stephanie McMahon in my induction class, so no one can tell me no one can tell me I'm not fantasy booking. Because first of all, we've got Bam Bam Bigelow is the first inductee into the Hall of Fame. Criminally overlooked so far for induction. Has to be in. So he's there. Secondly, we've got Demolition, the greatest tag team in WWE history that is not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Demolition. Have got to go in 4-time tag team champions at a time when the tag team titles didn't change hands every 3 seconds. Like, they've got to go in. Then we've got Michael Cole.
Yes.
28 years as an employee of WWE. 15 of them now as the lead announcer in WWE. The credentials, regardless of what you think of him, Matt, the importance of Michael Cole to WWE is without question by this point. Even if you think he's not very good at it, he's very important to them. And I think it's high time he got his induction.
He's the GOAT.
Next up, Natalya. So I'm replacing Stephanie, I guess, with Natalya. Because I think Natalya, she has been with the company now a very long time. And of all the people that are women wrestlers from that period, we've got like Michelle McCool in there. We've got the Bellas in there. I think Natalya is better than those people. So she should be in there.
I like Natalya, and I don't think she should be in there.
Well, all good. And then finally, headliner. Only one pick, really, isn't it? John Cena has to be the headliner for next year's Hall of Fame. I can't see beyond him, really. I mean, if they don't make him the headliner, then they'll be making Stephanie the headliner, which is not a good look for me.
Wouldn't that be something?
So that's your Hall of Fame class. Next up, women's US title match.
I forgot that title existed.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. This was the match that I had Stephanie Vicaire in, but I was like, well, now she's the world title champion. Yeah. She's not going after the US champions. I can't have her in it. So it is now Julia versus Roxanne Perez. We are very much in a new era of women's wrestling in WWE. The 4 horsewomen are either nearly all done or have got very few things to do left in their career. Similar thing you could say for Asuka, who's a similar sort of generation of star as them, and Nia Jax, similar generation of star as them, and Alexa Bliss, similar generation of star as those women. We're now into the new era, the Roxanne Perez, the Julias, the Stephanie Vicaires, etc. So I'm embracing it here with these two fighting each other at WrestleMania for the women's US title. Match number 6 is a mixed tag team match. Second one. The first one obviously was on night 1. And again, WWE, they stepped all over this with their recent mixed tag team match in the main event of one of the shows because Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are teaming together against not CM Punk and AJ Lee, but a babyface, Dominic and Liv. They are my opponents for Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. And the reason I'm going in this direction is I think there's a way to tell the Dominic Mysterio babyface turn in a coherent and logical way, which is to say that when Liv Morgan returns, after all the kind of suggestion that Dom might have an affair with Roxanne Perez, etc., and Finn Balor trying to manipulate that situation into happening. Certainly, this was happening a while back now. I'm not even sure if it's still happening, to be honest, because I don't watch Raw anymore. But basically, when Liv comes back, it's going to be revealed that Dom was never interested in Roxanne Perez, has never betrayed Liv in any way, and he's going to stand up to Finn Balor and JD McDonough to stand up for the honor of Liv Morgan, basically, and they're going to be together. And I was very much inspired by the conversation I had with Stephen recently about Randy Savage and Elizabeth, and I thought actually it would be really good to have a babyface couple who just stayed together, who just actually wanted to be together and were not derailed by anything else. So I thought, I think the fans would really go in for this. Everyone's telling me Dominic needs to be a babyface. Everyone really loves him. If we're going to do it, let's do it in a way that's interesting, that makes him actually do something babyface-ish, like be loyal to someone, like stand up for someone, to be brave against and be outnumbered in doing so. And let's have him go up against the most obnoxious couple of people outside of Stephanie and Triple H, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. So that's my mixed tag match for night 2.
I really like that.
7, WWE Women's Title match. Champion Tiffany Stratton.
Woohoo!
Champion for over a year by this point.
Damn right.
Up against Royal Rumble winner Io Sky. So
Yeah.
for me, I know you might not agree with this, Matt, but for me, Io Sky is the best wrestler in WWE right now. She's had a better year than anybody, as far as I'm concerned, in WWE this year, with a possible exception if she had not got pregnant of Naomi, who unfortunately had to. Well, I'm not saying unfortunately, she's very happy, I'm sure, but in terms of her career, unfortunately, had to drop the title and derail the momentum she had behind what was a really engaging heel character. But Io's for me the best, and I think this represents the next big match that Tiffany has to have. So I am not a fan of Tiffany, but I recognize that WWE are incredibly high on her, and therefore they need to have Tiffany work through these big matches gradually rather than just piss them all away in like a year. So Io Sky is the next big thing for her. I would have Io win this one, take the belt off Tiffany, because at some point she's got to lose it. You can't have her win forever. And then you can do what you want with Tiffany after that point. But I think this is a reasonably big match for the women and combines two people who I don't think have had much interaction at this point. So my night 2 main event, WWE title match. I think you can probably guess what it is by now. Cody Rhodes against CM Punk.
Ooh.
And that is my main event, Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk for the WWE title. Listen, I think this is a match I would have done at this year's WrestleMania just gone, in retrospect. I said I would probably have put John Cena in there with them and had a triple threat match. I feel like that was the right way to go, personally, especially given the story they were telling with Cena and the heel turn. I think just makes more sense. But given that didn't happen, I'm going for it this year. And I don't know who wins, but I think it's about the biggest match they've got left of the regular everyday crew. I can't think of a bigger match they haven't already done for WrestleMania next year. So that's why it's my main event. So just as a little recap, here are your night 1 and night 2s.
Lovely.
And that is the lot. That is my WrestleMania 42. There are bits that I'm not loving. There are bits that I am happy with, but there it is.